Hey, Mike, what day is it?
Hump Day. That's the way the camel says it?
No, the camel comes through going, Mike, 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 Mike. It is Wednesday, April 10th of 2024. Thank you for watching Litter Media Live. We are just getting up and running here today. And if those of you that are listening on Litter Media Radio today, we appreciate you tuning in. If you know nothing about Litter Media Radio, if you go to our website, there's a link right there. And just click on it, and it'll take you right to our radio station.
Correcto. Mm-hmm. Want to do some weather?
Yeah, I might as well do that.
Cloudy skies today, chance of rain. In fact, not only today, but each day through Friday. 66, our anticipated high today. We might see 72 with some showers tomorrow, and then cooling off to 54 on Friday with, I just heard it from one of my cousins yesterday who works for a ag chemical company. He gave me the exact prediction of 0.4 of an inch of rain for Friday. Those farmers got to know what's coming, but we think it's going to be dry for the weekend.
They got to get out into the field.
Yes, sir.
They got to know. We will continue to keep an eye on the weather. That's another thing you can find on our website, littermedia.com. As you saw the weather map there just a moment ago, that's an interactive weather map. So you can, wherever you are, if you are, for instance, watching us today and you're located in Tennessee, you can stretch that around. Just grab it with your mouse and move it around, and it'll take you where you need to go, and it'll give you the forecast for your location. Even if you are traveling overseas, and let's say you're going to Austria or something like that, and you can, as long as you're allowed to access our website in that country, you can go through and find out what the weather is doing in your neighborhood right there. Very easy. All right, just ahead, we'll take a look at what's making news for us today. We'll have to look at some news topics, sports, and this date in history, all just ahead. But first, Scioto Valley Dumpsters. If you've got a cleanup job to do, whether it be for your business or your home, they can provide a dumpster for you. 740-253-8389 for Scioto Valley Dumpsters.
It's the details that make the difference between good enough and simply the best. At Skag Power Equipment, the difference is in designing lawnmowers with your convenience and comfort in mind. At Skag, we believe that quality and substance matter, and that you'll appreciate the attention to detail and craftsmanship we put into every single product. Thick steel and heavy-duty components provide you with unmatched reliability and performance. Skag, simply the best.
I was looking for a first job. I had been babysitting and decided it was something for a little more permanent. It pays very well. It's convenient. You can make your own schedule with the flexibility. That's something that I like. The people that I work with are great. I wouldn't ask for a better crew or management team to work for.
Are you looking for a beer that satisfies your thirst and love of country? Armed Forces Brewing Company brews beer for patriots. Celebrate freedom with every sip. Armed Forces Brewing Company. Freedom never tasted so good.
Now they're saying that it could be mid-May or even June before the Waverly Library can reopen. But we want to remind you that they do have their branch libraries that are still open to the public if you need their resources.
While I was going through there this morning, they were just bringing some excavation equipment there. So I think they're getting started with the work today.
Very good.
Keep going. I have to catch my breath.
All right. You might remember a story that we did some months back about last Labor Day, the Lee Walker family reunion. Well, that reunion made it as a feature article in the nationally known Family Tree magazine. This is a magazine about genealogy, and there they are at that big reunion that they had last Labor Day weekend. And a fascinating story that you can find the interview that we did with Rochelle and also Jeff Ragland. That goes back, I think, maybe July or August when we did that
sometime
interview.
last summer.
Yeah, it would be up on our Litter Media YouTube site.
Real quick, I want to say, before Dan came back, we unmuted the wrong mic for you, Mike.
I had this one open here, right?
You're on 2, though.
Somebody has switched my microphone.
Wasn't me.
Okay.
If you look
So
on
they
the-
have no idea where Dan was. for that
Okay,
brief
well,
moment.
Dan didn't get raptured or anything like that. He had,
on the post right here,
Yeah.
we have the numbers. For
well,
the,
I just take what I usually have in front of me. We thought we had a visitor that you had to check on, so that's where he went.
best we can tell, it was someone who was not a visitor.
Okay, very good.
Not a visitor for us.
Yeah, that was the initial of the.
We think it had something to do with part of our litter propane family, but
okay.
not for us.
But Dan is safe, and he's back with us now in studio.
Yes, and there was no subpoena for nothing. You hadn't been served.
I'm not
kind
being
of thing.
arrested or anything like that. Very good.
You don't want to toss those Eclipse glasses because they can be reused for other folks. And you can drop off at any Ross, that is Chillicothe Ross County Public Library location now through May 1st, and they're going to send those to Latin America for students that are going to be watching the next one coming through down there. So if you'd like to participate, all you need to do is just stop by one of the local libraries. Doing this also over in Highland County and up in Mount Sterling as well. I saw someone had a post. They had purchased like 100 glasses, and they only used like 2 pair.
Oh, golly.
But they had this. It looked like a deck of cards. They were all laid out together and kind of free to a good home. So here's a spot for you to take them to. Take them down to the library.
I'll let you get caught up with the next one, and then I'll take the last one.
Okay. Fellowship of Christian Athletes will be having their Fayette County fundraiser. This is a dinner coming up in April 30th at the James Event Center. From 6 until 8 p.m., you can help the Scioto Valley FCA bring Fields of Faith back to the youth of Fayette County. They had a big event here a couple of months ago that was absolutely fantastic. They had like 1,500 people showed up for this event. The fundraiser to support their efforts to disciple high school students in Fayette County. And you can share the opportunity to everybody you know, and there's a QR code right there that you can scan to find out more. Scioto Valley chapter of the FCA takes in a number of schools, and there are a lot of schools in their territory that do not have chapters. And we've been reaching out to other schools, trying to encourage them to participate in this. I was a member back at Taste Valley back in the 1970s, and that chapter is still going strong. It's still a pretty good sized chapter. So a very good organization for kids to get involved with. Of course, here last week we had Michael and Annette Linton in to talk about their Koinonia.
Camp.
Did I say it right?
It sounds close to me.
I'm not sure, but I don't think that was right.
Is that right?
Koinonia.
I couldn't have
I
done
thought
it
it
any
was like
better.
koinonia.
Yeah, that's what it looks like, but
Koinonia?
Koinonia. I think Koinonia might be
Okay.
it. I think you might be right on the last one there.
I think that's what you started with.
Well, when I visited, we had breakfast with former FCA members this past Saturday morning, and one of them is the founder of the FCA at Taze Valley, Tom Heil, and it rolled right off of his mouth
tongue,
as if, and of course he was an English teacher, so everything rolls off their lips like it's supposed to.
It's like people that aren't familiar with Chillicothe trying to pronounce
Chillicothe. Well, how do you say this?
Yeah. Oh, well. Uptown Circleville has announced the return of its highly anticipated chocolate walk event. That's coming up on Saturday, May the 11th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. The one-of-a-kind affair, which is, by the way, sponsored by the Savings Bank, promises a delightful day of local shopping and sweet indulgence. Tickets for the Chocolate Walk, a limited and exclusive event, are available for $25 each and can be purchased online at uptowncircleville.org or through event prices. But early ticket purchases are highly recommended since the spots fill up so fast. And there again is a QR code if you want to get quick access to that site.
We don't have an image for this, but I've shared it here in our news feed on Facebook. My son had shared this with me from Scioto County. They're taking down a communications tower, and they're going to put a new one up. And this is for what's the Marks radio tower?
Yes.
And it's the agency radio communications system, I think is how it goes. But it's going to be installed in, did we decide, is it Furt Hill?
I've seen it, but I don't know how you pronounce it.
Feurt. It's just north of Portsmouth, down in Scioto County. The current tower is 110 feet high. The new one's going to be 310 feet high. So that's going to raise the elevation of the top of that tower from 1,083 feet to 1,393 feet. So that's going to, no doubt, increase their capabilities for covering that area for first responders. So kudos to the folks at Scioto County for getting that taken care of.
Local airline or airplane pilots, beware of the change in elevation.
And drone pilots as well, which you're permitted to go 400. If you're inspecting a tower, you are permitted to go 400 feet above that tower.
Goodness. Our road report today takes us to Pike County, just north of where Dan was talking about. Work has begun for a bridge replacement project on State Route 104 between State Route 32 and Long Fork Road. 104 will remain open until June 1st, and then there's a series of closures that will be taking place. You can get more details of that in our road report segment. Or actually, the nav bar will show you the road reports on littermedia.com that'll give you more extensive information about that particular project.
When I was coming up 23 from Waverly today, I saw that they still have the orange barrels. We talked about them beginning work this week for that turbo lane. They weren't working today. They just have the barrels still sitting out. So nothing has changed this week.
Not much you can do in the rain sometimes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, well, it's not really raining all that hard.
But it's going to.
I just walked outside. It must be nice to be a construction worker.
Sometimes. I don't think I'd want to be out there when people are not observing the safe speed.
Yes.
That's dangerous.
Absolutely. All right, coming up in a moment to look at what's happening in the world of sports for us here locally. And, of course, we'll go a little further beyond, check up on our baseball teams and all. So that's coming up in a moment. But first, let's tell you about Accurate Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, your trusted comfort advisor. For nearly 5 decades now, they have been taking care of the comfort in your home. If you've got a question or you've got service that you need, just click on this anywhere you see it at littermedia.com. It will take you right to their website, which is accuratehvac.com. Sports is next.
This is Andy Tomlinson. When ensuring what's important to you, our agents are there when you need us the most. Tomlinson Insurance, for the best coverage at the best cost. Visit us online at tomlinsonins.com to learn more.
At Rathkamp Financial, we believe in building client relationships for the long term, guiding you through the stages of wealth with a plan and bringing you closer to reaching your financial dreams. We believe in long-term relationships and working to earn your continued trust with our customized investment solutions.
For transportation options in Ross County, call Ross County Health District's Mobility Management Team, 740-779-9652. Chiropractic needs, physical therapy, nutrition, they can handle it all and more at Haynes Total Health Care Center. That's why they call it Total Health Care. If you click on this ad anywhere you see it on our website, littermedia.com, it'll take you right to HaynesHealth.com for Haynes, celebrating their 50th anniversary of taking care of all of our spinal needs and physical therapy and everything else. I've had issues with a shoulder or a neck injury or whatever. They help with the physical therapy on that too.
Yeah.
So. All right, sports.
Member schools of the Ohio High School Athletic Association will vote on 6 proposed changes to the OHSAA bylaws during the annual referendum voting period, May 1st through the 15th. Results will be announced on May 16th. A simple majority of the votes cast by membership schools is the only way to amend the bylaws and the Constitution. Member schools are required to submit a ballot. The OHSAA staff will conduct meetings with school administrators in each of the OHSAA's 6 districts to explain the referendum issues closest to us. The meetings will be April 18th in Athens and April the 22nd in Columbus.
I was looking through some of that in the release yesterday, and there's a lot of stuff they're jumping through. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
But you have to address it, because if you
Eventually.
don't address it, it's going to come up at some point in time. Team titles down in Waverly, claimed by the Unioto girls and St. Trace boys at the Radiger Invitational Track and Field Meet. That was last night. The Lady Sherman's edging Waverly 127 to 125. The Pioneers outdistanced runner-up Unioto 133 points to 89 to 33. Waverly's Paige O'Brien took first place in 3 individual events, winning the 100, 200, and the long jump. And congratulations to those kids performing yesterday.
Yep. That was one of the spring sports in action last night. The others were baseball and softball. Scores you can find at littermedia.com under our score page. A couple of conference games last night. SVC baseball, Zane Trace beat Huntington. In the FAC, Miami Trace over Chile. Washington beat Hillsborough. SOC winners include Wheelersburg over Waverly, although that game it was called in the 5th because of rain, but it was a completed game. Green beat Eastern. Portsmouth Clay, a winner over East. In the Mid-State League, Fairfield Union beat Amanda Clear Creek. Non-conference winners were Unioto, Athens, and Lancaster. And as you see in softball in the SVC, Unioto and Piketon were winners. FAC winners were Hillsborough, Chillicothe, Fairfield Union in the Mid-State League, Portsmouth Clay and Eastern Pike winners in softball SOC. And in non-conference play, Wheelersburg beat Boyd County, Kentucky, Mount Vernon over Taze Valley, and Athens beat Logan. I think I saw that Athens softball lost their first game of the year, and now they've won 6 in a row. So they're on a roll.
Reds did not win back-to-back. They lost yesterday, a total there of 9-5. They found themselves down 9-1. They had an opportunity to tie the game in the 9th, but they could not get it done. But they'll go at it again this evening. And I believe Hunter Green gets a start for the Reds tonight against Wade Miley.
How about that?
Who
Former Red.
is back up from minor league rehab stint. For the Guardians, they also suffered a loss, falling to the White Sox 7-5 yesterday.
But still first in the American League Central.
Mm-hmm. At 8-3.
Lightning struck the Blue Jackets last night.
At Tampa Bay.
Figuratively speaking, 5-2.
I think it was 2-2 at one point in the match. Soccer last night. The Columbus Crew was in a bout against Tigers, I think they call them. Mm-hmm. It's like Tigers, only the R and the E are reversed. But they were playing in Mexico in this tournament that they're playing for the CONCACAF, and they won on penalty kicks.
Yeah.
If you were watching the end of the news last night, local news, the sports guys were waiting because that penalty kick went in just before they were leaving the newscast. And so what's significant about this is they're the first American team to win and advance into this semifinal deal. So that's kind of cool. And congratulations to Lexi Lamas. I was taking a look at the, is it Lamas or Lalas?
Got me on that.
You don't remember? Lexi used to be a redheaded, had a big afro type hairdo, and was a soccer player for the Americans several years back. But anyway, now he's graying on his temples and he's a color commentator. But he was saying for the MLS and Columbus, he says, this is what the MLS has wanted to be. And they have reached that point, and that was the significance of last night's match. So that was pretty cool to see that it would be Columbus
finally get her done,
making that significant moment. And then in Columbus, the Lower.com field, they had Canada playing the United States in women's soccer.
Yeah.
And Team USA picks up the win. Congratulations.
USA.
It was a soccer-filled night last night. All right, coming up, this date in history. You want to give a teaser on this?
Going to the movies in 1953.
All right. Details next.
Litter Propane, one of our great sponsors of Litter Media Live each day, want to remind you that there's no bill when there's a fill. Contact Litter Quality Propane today about our metered gas service. Again, that's at litterpropane.com.
Find a career you love with Pickaway Ross Adult Education. Skilled trades careers are in high demand with no signs of slowing down. Pickaway Ross offers career training programs with expert instructors and hands-on learning tactics to create a variety of opportunities. Visit our website for more information.
Each week, Litter Media presents the Neil Coleman Insurance Wyandotte Mutual Player of the Week. If you have an athlete to nominate, any amateur athlete is eligible. Simply visit littermedia.com and click on Player of the Week. At the end of the year, we'll announce the Player of the Year. Make your nominations now at littermedia.com. Click on Player of the Week.
Our mobile banking app is changing the way we bank. Things are getting easier. Transactions are getting safer. And you have access 24/7. All the functionality of banking you're used to, made easier to use, anywhere, anytime, and more secure than ever. Simple, seamless, safe. Download our Kingston National Bank mobility app today.
I'm a busy woman, and I'm not ready to slow down.
Tiffany's hip pain was interfering with her career and active lifestyle until she came to the Adina Orthopedic and Spine Institute.
Dr. Meshbach told me about same-day surgery. I said, I want it now, and I wanted it yesterday.
After a successful procedure, Tiffany was home the very same day and on her way back to enjoying the community she calls home. At Adina, we do what we love, so you can too.
Time to go to the movies. Get your popcorn ready and sit back. It's not a 3D movie, right?
Yes.
It is a 3D movie.
Yes.
So, but you don't want to use your solar eclipse glasses.
No, that wouldn't
Switch those over to your 3D glasses.
Just like the 3D glasses wouldn't have done you any good for the solar eclipse. 1953, the horror film The House of Wax, starring Vincent Price, opens at New York's Paramount Theater. Released by Warner Brothers, it was the first movie from a major motion picture studio to be shot using the three-dimensional, or what they called the stereoscopic film process, and one of the first horror films to be shot in color. Now, I have seen this movie a number of times on television. And, of course, television is not fitted for 3D, but there are some scenes where you can tell that it was 3D. Kind of just a little bit blurry. The movie Rope, made by Alfred Hitchcock back in 1948, it started out as a 3D. I think that they made some changes to that even in the theaters in if I said 43, it was 48, because it just wasn't working very well. So 53 is technically the first recognized full-length 3D movie.
And to think that 3 years later, Vincent Price was appearing as Baka in the Ten Commandments and being killed by Moses.
Yes, yeah. Vincent Price, I think when Michael Jackson used him in the video Thriller, was appropriate because he was a creeper when it came back to the. In fact, that wasn't the name of one of his. Some of his horror flicks were kind of campy.
Yeah,
Slither and some other crazy movies like that in the 50s.
I think the first movie I remember was The Pendulum. I remember watching that at night. I can't remember if it was on Chiller Theater or if it was maybe an ABC movie in the evening.
Yeah. Is that The Pit and the Pendulum? Was that in Edgar Allan Poe, one of his stories?
Maybe it was, yeah.
Because I think he did 2 or 3 Edgar Allan Poe stories.
It was in the 60s, so I'm probably 6 or 7 years old at the time. And I just remember him scaring me at that moment in time.
Well, you look like he was dead when he was alive. Very thin, gaunt look, but you didn't get a chance to see Vincent Price in a non-serious role very often. But I think he was on Laugh-In once or twice.
Probably.
And it was you just don't know how people, when they get away from those roles, how they really are. But he seemed like a kind of a fun guy. So.
Well, you get typecast, in certain things. And,
sure.
and he was along the horror genre for a long time, most of his career, actually.
Yeah.
But wasn't he like a Welsh-born actor and just was a fantastic orator? I believe he won several awards just for, I think, was it 3 spoken word Grammys he received, something like that?
Yeah.
Don't know that he ever got an Academy Award, though.
Yeah, I don't think so.
But I did see he had a spot on the Walk of Fame, Hollywood Walk of Fame in 1960, I think.
Yeah, probably so.
Which probably all led back to the House of Wax.
Could have been. At least one of them, yeah.
Yeah. But they thought, it's crazy. He's not in 3D right now.
I can actually see him without my glasses on, yeah.
All right, tomorrow on the program, we're back to a regular show, which we'll have. Coming up Friday, we will have Melody Young here. She is the executive director of the Ross Chillicothe Convention and Visitors Bureau. And Susan Nicely will be here as well from the Hopewell National Park. And we're going to talk about next week's events that will be taking place, World Heritage Week. So we'll have that conversation at 10 o'clock on Friday, and then our regular program as well. All right, that's going to do it for today. So for producer Aaron Glandon off to our left, Mr. Hand 2, and for the icon Mike Smith, I'm Dan Ramey. We'll talk to you soon on another edition of Litter Media Live.